Our next keynote speaker is Kim Duffy, who oversees the Queensland Off the Track program, which addresses the needs of both thoroughbreds and standardbreds, or trotters and pacers, who are leaving the racing and breeding industry in Australia's northernmost state on the eastern seaboard. Kim's charged with overseeing aftercare programs in Queensland and will bring us up to date with the work being done in the aftercare space in Queensland. Please welcome Kim Duffy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Caroline, for the warm introduction, and also to IFAR for having me here today. It is my absolute pleasure to present to the IFAR conference this year on behalf of Racing Queensland on some of the recent initiatives and advancements in equine aftercare that has been implemented in Queensland over the past 18 months. As part of my role at Racing Queensland, it is a privilege to oversee the development and implementation of the Queensland Off the Track program to address racehorse aftercare. Today, I will guide you through the process that led us to starting an aftercare program in Queensland and our current range of initiatives available. In 2019, the Queensland Government commissioned an independent inquiry into the management of retired racehorses in Queensland called the Martin Inquiry. The Queensland Government supported all 55 recommendations made by the inquiry, which has resulted in a chain of initiatives that have had positive outcomes for equine welfare. One of the key Martin Inquiry recommendations was to establish an off-the-track program for thoroughbred and standardbred horses, bred for the racing industry and domiciled in Queensland at the time of their retirement. The Martin Inquiry found that the racing industry is to be held accountable for ensuring a high-quality first transition out of racing and breeding for all retired racehorses. In terms of design of the program, the Martin Inquiry recommended that Queensland's off-the-track program was to contain provision for horses that are bred for racing but never make it to the racetrack, including unnamed horses and breeding stock, as well as contain provision for retired racehorses located in regional areas of Queensland, which are really important considerations for us when designing the Queensland Off the Track program. To this end, I'll start by briefly introducing the Queensland racing industry, as it is important for us to understand the Queensland context and the geographical challenges that we face in implementing a racing aftercare program for horses located across our vast state. Racing Queensland is a tri-code racing authority, so we are responsible for administering not only thoroughbred racing, but harness and greyhound racing as well. Therefore, the Queensland Off the Track program supports both equine codes of racing and caters for standardbred horses as well. There are approximately 15 thoroughbred race meetings and 6 harness race meetings held in Queensland every week, with over 7,000 unique thoroughbred starters and approximately 1,500 unique standardbred starters per annum. We have a total of 116 thoroughbred race clubs and 3 harness race clubs located across Queensland, which you can see on the map there, which are separated into 8 racing districts. Our race clubs stretch all the way from Cooktown in the north to Texas in the south, which is a distance of over 2,000 kilometres. The enormity of the distances involved creates some challenges for traceability and the application of aftercare initiatives. When setting up the program, it was imperative for us to ensure that a retired racehorse was not disadvantaged or unable to access support based on their location, and that racing owners and trainers felt supported in our regional and remote locations of Queensland. As such, the Queensland Off the Track program uses the 8 racing districts that you can see there as one of the tools to monitor and evaluate the success of our programs, and you'll see this throughout my presentation. The Queensland Off the Track program was established in 2021 and we have been operational for 18 months now. Our vision is to maximise the post-racing opportunities for Queensland's racehorses by delivering a sustainable and responsible Queensland Off the Track program. Our mission is to deliver a multifaceted program that gives horses leaving the racing industry a fresh start, and you can view the acronym for Fresh Start and what that means up on my slide there. The Queensland Off the Track program is governed by an independent board that was established by the Racing Queensland Board to operate and manage the program. The Queensland Off the Track Board is comprised of representatives from various industry stakeholder groups and animal welfare bodies, including Equine Veterinarians Australia and the RSPCA. It was very clear to us when designing the Queensland Off the Track program that a successful aftercare program requires a multifaceted approach. For us, this included incorporating transitioning strategies, supply and demand strategies, safety net strategies, advocacy and community engagement strategies, as well as education and traceability. The Queensland Off the Track program architecture has 6 focus areas that are underpinned by the principles of aftercare as set by IFAR. A structured program of actions and initiatives has been established under each of the 6 focus areas to form a comprehensive aftercare framework. Queensland Off the Track's objectives are to support the placement of retired racehorses into second careers, promote life after racing options and identify retirement pathways, stimulate demand for retired racehorses and increase awareness of their adaptability and versatility of use, support the longevity of retired racehorses in their new homes, provide education and support for racing industry participants and the domestic horse community to optimise racehorse aftercare, and advocate for the lifelong traceability of retired racehorses beyond their first exit from the racing industry. In today's presentation, I'm going to focus on the 4 major initiatives that have been launched in the Queensland Off the Track program's first year of operation. Our first major initiative, the Subsidised Lessons program, was developed to support retired racehorses as they transition from the racing industry into the domestic horse community. Through this program, new owners and riders of retired racehorses are provided with free coaching services to assist them with transitioning their racehorse to life post-racing. The program enables new owners and riders in the off-the-track community to receive individual tailored support across a range of areas, including feeding and nutrition, general care, groundwork, behaviour and ridden components. The program operates through a voucher system with approved participants issued vouchers to subsidise the cost of the lessons. Approved participants are eligible for free individual lessons of up to 45 minutes in duration with a Queensland Off the Track approved coach. Horses who retired from racing or breeding within 18 months are eligible to receive 10 free lessons with one of our coaches. As recently as January, we've extended that criteria, and now horses who have retired from the racing industry longer than 18 months ago are now eligible to receive 3 free lessons with one of our coaches every 12 months. This ongoing support can now be accessed each year for the rest of the horse's life. We currently have 45 Queensland Off the Track approved coaches who are contracted to Racing Queensland to provide the coaching services. All of the coaches are Equestrian Australia accredited coaches and have the experience with off-the-track horses. Pleasingly, our coaches are located in 6 of the 8 racing districts to provide support right across Queensland. For owners of off-the-track horses who live in remote locations and cannot travel to a coach, lessons can also be conducted via online meeting platforms to access this support, and we do see this occurring in some of our remote locations. In the 18 months that this program has been up and running, we have supported 525 retired racehorses, which is an incredible result. We've also received overwhelmingly positive feedback from the students who have participated in the program, with feedback survey results reporting that 100% of participants feel that this program supports the welfare of off-the-track horses and their longevity in their new post-racing homes. In addition, 100% of participants said that this program makes it more appealing to own an off-the-track horse. This program has been enormously popular in Queensland, and it has been a fantastic touch point for us in terms of traceability and ensuring the welfare of our off-the-track horses well beyond their first exit from the racing industry. A key recommendation from the Martin Inquiry, the Acknowledged Retrainers program is Queensland's first formal retraining and rehoming program. The aim of the program is to complement the many established pathways for rehoming racehorses in Queensland. It isn't the intention that every horse comes through this program, but it is to supplement what already exists in this space. What was really important to us in developing this program was not to interrupt the existing mechanisms that already exist for retraining and rehoming horses. So we implemented a model where we support the existing retrainer network in Queensland. It was also important that we did not dissuade or interfere with the existing industry momentum that oversees racing owners and trainers already working hard to find suitable homes and careers for their retired racehorses. Queensland off-the-track acknowledged retrainers objectively assess the suitability and character of each horse, provide the necessary education and retraining to assist them with their transition to a second career as a pleasure, therapy or performance horse, and rehome them accordingly. It is also the key role of a Queensland off-the-track acknowledged retrainer to match the horse to the skill and the aspiration of a prospective new owner, and therefore ensure that each horse is best placed for success in a new home. The program currently supports a network of 15 acknowledged retrainers who have been identified and approved as having the appropriate skill, experience and track record in successfully retraining and rehoming retired racehorses. Further expansion of our network is set to occur this year. Queensland off-the-track acknowledged retrainers progress through a rigorous and thorough application process, inclusive of property site assessments and reference checks, in order to become acknowledged retrainers for our program. Retrainers are officially acknowledged to ensure high standards of competence and to ensure credibility, transparency and traceability. Our acknowledged retrainers commit to guidelines to ensure that they safely and responsibly transition racehorses into their post-racing lives. Our retrainer network continue to operate their businesses independently to the Queensland off-the-track program, but are supported by a range of marketing, business and financial support options, including an equine care subsidy, which provides reimbursement for eligible horse management costs incurred by the retrainer throughout the course of providing the retraining and rehoming services for Queensland off-the-track. These expenses can include veterinary examination and treatment, feeding costs, dentals, vaccinations, worming programs and farrier treatments, up to a maximum reimbursement of $5,200 per horse. In addition, Queensland off-the-track provides a retraining transport subsidy to reimburse racing owners and trainers for transportation costs associated with transporting a retired racehorse to one of our retrainers. Owners and trainers can apply for reimbursement up to a maximum payment of $1,000 per horse. This is particularly important for our remote areas of Queensland, where a Queensland off-the-track acknowledged retrainer may not be located, or there may not be the same equestrian community available to support that horse's transition from racing. Once a horse has been rehomed via one of our acknowledged retrainers, focus then turns to the longevity of the home, and further support is provided to the new owner via our subsidised lessons program. In the program's first year of operation, 105 horses have entered the program, with 70 of those horses having already completed their retraining and have been successfully rehomed to date. What is clear from our successful graduates is that with a bit of time and effort, you can make a huge difference in a horse's post-racing prospects. Our third major initiative, the event sponsorship program, has been developed to create more competition opportunities, drive demand and support the visibility of retired racehorses in their post-racing lives via sponsorship of equestrian and horse sport events. Through the program, sponsorship is provided to organisations that provide competition opportunities for off-the-track horses across all disciplines and for all levels of off-the-track horse and rider combinations to participate in, from beginners to advanced. This is inclusive to all organisations who wish to host events, including pony clubs, equestrian groups and agricultural show societies. In addition, the program supports the visibility of retired racehorses in their post-racing careers, with the organisations required to provide the microchip details and brand information for all retired racehorses competing at their events to Queensland off-the-track. 3 different sponsorship tiers are available, with sponsorship funding tiered dependent on the number of off-the-track horses who will be participating in the event. As you can see from the map there, Queensland off-the-track sponsored events are now being held in each of the 8 racing districts in Queensland, including some of our most remote locations, such as Cloncurry, Mount Isa and Birdsville. Over 20% of the organisations approved for sponsorship had never incorporated dedicated classes for retired racehorses to participate in prior to Queensland off-the-track support. Approximately 75% to 85% of the funding provided by Queensland off-the-track is used for the provision of prizes for retired racehorses, such as prize money, rugs, ribbons, trophies or garlands. By boosting the prize money and benefits for off-the-track horses, we've created an environment in Queensland where it is more lucrative to compete on an off-the-track horse rather than any other breed. The incentives provided to riders to compete on retired racehorses has also attributed to an increased growth in nominations, particularly in the non-traditional disciplines such as barrel racing, camp drafting and stockman's challenges. This program has been operating for nearly 12 months now, and we have supported 117 events to date, tracing 1,730 retired racehorses. As an extension of our event sponsorship program, Aftercare Clinics sponsorship has been developed by Queensland Off the Track to encourage equestrian and domestic horse sport clubs to facilitate interactive, non-riding education clinics to promote best practice equine welfare and horsemanship to support owners and riders who care for retired racehorses. A total of 8 aftercare clinics have been held in Queensland so far, providing valued education on equine health, emergency first aid, hoof care and horsemanship, just to name a few. This initiative has proven to be very popular, particularly amongst the Pony Club network, and it has been fantastic to create community and connect people with racing. The Royal Queensland Show is Queensland's biggest horse event, and Queensland Off the Track now sponsors the prestigious Thoroughbred and Standardbred Day. Incorporating the two race breeds together is a great opportunity to showcase thoroughbreds and standardbreds to the general public as they take centre stage in the main arena and compete in track-to-hack classes. In addition, acclaimed horse trainer David Mansion partnered with Racing Queensland to proudly showcase the Queensland Off the Track program in a twice-daily educational show called Horsing Around. Dave was joined by some well-known off-the-track stars as he talked about his training methods and how they can apply to retired racehorses. The educational show demonstrated what is possible with our equine superstar athletes following their retirement from racing. 3 off-the-track horses were showcased in the twice-daily shows, 2 retired thoroughbreds, Hofgarden in Ecuador, and 1 retired standardbred, My Shadow Strike. The off-the-track horses also opened the show All the Pretty Horses. It was a production as part of the nightly spectacular Ekka Nights in the main arena. The Horsing Around show was one of the Ekka's most visited activations in 2022, with capacity crowds at every show. The Queensland Off the Track Grants program was our 4th major initiative to launch, and this program has formed the foundation of our safety net in Queensland. Like the Subsidised Lessons program, this program has the benefit of extending industry support well beyond a horse's first exit from the industry. Under the program, grants are awarded to not-for-profit organisations and charities that provide equine rescue and rehabilitation services for retired racehorses that have previously transitioned from the racing industry into the domestic horse community but have become vulnerable or at risk at later stages of their lives and require veterinary treatment or professional retraining services to assist with their placement into suitable long-term homes. Grants are also awarded to not-for-profit organisations and charities that utilise retired racehorses as therapy aids to provide professional therapy or rehabilitation programs to community groups or individual persons. This can include people with disabilities, disadvantaged children, youth and adults, aged care residents, war veterans and other community support services. Under round 1 of the grants program, more than $100,000 has been provided to 7 successful organisations across 3 different grant categories. This funding has supported 74 retired racehorses to date. Going back to our 6 focus areas, if we do the other 5 well, this will reduce the number of horses that require a safety net, which is why it is critically important for us to take a multifaceted approach to aftercare. Round 2 of the grants program will open in May this year, and we look forward to further expanding this program in the years to come. So what's next, you may ask? We will continue to expand the support offered under our 4 major initiatives launched last year. We will also work to increase owner-trainer engagement with our post-racing programs. Incentivise driven traceability via the launch of our QOTT Clubhouse, which is a bespoke traceability platform that is set to launch in a couple of weeks' time. We will also launch equine business grants to incentivise businesses to incorporate non-competitive off-the-track horses into their business models, as well as acknowledged retrainers grants to assist our retrainers with capacity expansion to enable them to retrain and rehome more horses for the off-the-track program. We'll also look at introducing new programs and support for vulnerable horses, including end-of-life considerations, and lucky last, to keep learning and to keep improving. In summary, I would like to thank the other principal racing authorities in Australia, as well as New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing, who have been so generous in sharing their knowledge and learnings with us in Queensland as we establish the Queensland Off the Track program. We will continue to learn and evolve by collaborating together, which can only be a benefit to the horses that we all love. It has been a very busy 18 months for the Queensland Off the Track program, and we've been able to establish what we have due to the support of the Queensland Off the Track board and the Racing Queensland board and executives, who fully appreciate the risk that post-racing poses for the industry and the magnitude of the work that needs to be done. To everyone here today, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to presenting to you again at a future conference about what we have learned and what that means for our future strategy as we continue to develop and expand the Queensland Off the Track program. If you have any questions at all, or if there is anything that I can do to assist, please feel free to reach out. And so I leave you today with a beautiful image of one of my very first off-the-track horses that I acquired when I was only 10 years old. A beautiful boy called the Architect, who really did inspire my love for off-the-track horses. Thank you.
Well, that was just fabulous. Thank you, Kim. Obviously, we heard before from Latoya and Mel as far as New South Wales and Victoria, but, you know, with a lot less funding, incredible work being done in Queensland, also South Australia. So great to be able to show you some of the diverse programs that are in operation here in the various states around Australia.